The first sign something was wrong came when Ethan and Nick reached the ridge overlooking the city. They had been off-grid for 7 days, deep in the backcountry, no signal, no headlines, no world beyond river water and wood smoke. It had been the kind of week people pay for: silence, stars, and the steady rhythm of survival stripped down to its basics. From this ridge, the skyline should have shimmered in late afternoon light. Instead, smoke climbed into the sky in thick, oily columns. Nick lowered his pack slowly. That's not a brush fire. Sirens drifted up to them, long, fractured wails that overlapped and never seemed to stop. Not the organized pattern of coordinated emergency response. These were chaotic, endless. Ethan scanned the city. No flashing red and blues cutting through the haze. No helicopters. No signs of control. "Where are the police?" he muttered. "Where's anyone?" They didn't speak again until they reached downtown. Cars sat at impossible angles. Doors hung open. One sedan had jumped a curb and torn through a bus stop. Another idled against a fire hydrant, water spraying skyward like a forgotten fountain. Wind pushed loose papers through the street like tumbleweeds. Then the smell hit. Rot. But wrong. Not roadkill, not something natural. Something human. A figure stumbled out from between two abandoned SUVs. Ethan lifted a hand. "Hey, you okay?" The man's head snapped toward them. Gray skin, milky eyes. His jaw sagged as if unhinged. Something dark crusted along his chin and dripped down the front of his shirt. He didn't answer. He lunged. More shapes shifted in the shadows behind him. Nick didn't hesitate. "Run!" They bolted. Boots pounded pavement. Packs thudded against their backs. A week in the wilderness had sharpened them. Strong legs, steady lungs, instincts awake. They vaulted a fallen bike rack, cut through an alley, shouldered past trash bins. The moans followed, rising and multiplying. Ethan risked a glance back. Dozens. They crashed through the shattered front of a sporting goods store. Ethan grabbed a metal baseball bat from a display rack. Nick snatched a hunting knife from behind the counter. The back exit led to a side street, clear for now. They ran until concrete faded to cracked highway, and the highway gave way to rural roads swallowed by weeds. Night found them hiding in an abandoned barn miles from the burning glow of the city. Smoke painted the clouds orange on the horizon. "What happened while we were gone?" Ethan whispered. Nick stared at the distant fires. "Doesn't matter. City's dead." He paused. Literally. By morning, they headed north, deeper into the hills. If cities were death traps, isolation was survival. They followed deer trails and old logging roads, moving quiet and deliberate. Twice, they spotted small clusters of the infected drifting at the edges of small towns, as if pushed outward by the collapse. Winter was coming. That was the real enemy. They could hunt, they could forage, but snow didn't care how strong you were. 2 weeks later, exhausted and leaner than they'd ever been, they found it. A cabin tucked between pines, weathered but standing. A well in the back. A metal bucket sat beside it, still damp. Nick tested the pulley. "If that water's clean, this place is gold." Behind the cabin stood a barn, older, sagging slightly at one corner, and from inside, moaning. They circled silently. Through a gap in the wood, Ethan saw movement. A teenager in what looked like a Halloween wizard robe was bent over someone on the ground. The body beneath him was motionless. A young girl stood a few yards away, frozen in horror. Ethan moved first. He placed a steady hand on her shoulder. She flinched hard, nearly screaming. "It's okay," he said gently. "You don't need to watch this." He guided her to face away. Behind her, his sledgehammer rose and fell. 2 heavy blows. Then, silence. When it was done, Nick checked the perimeter. The girl stumbled aside and threw up. Ethan approached slowly, keeping space. "I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm Ethan. That's Nick." He gestured toward the cabin. "You alone?" She swallowed, pale and shaking. "Amber. My name's Amber." "You been here long?" Since everything started. Cities fell first. Too many people, too close together." She glanced toward the trees. "Some drift out this way. Not many. We keep the noise down, we're okay." "We." Ethan caught the word, but didn't press. "You've got a solid setup here," he said. "Better than our tents. But more people means more watch shifts, more chances to see trouble coming." Amber nodded slowly. "More people would be good." That night, they took shifts. Nick first, then Amber. Ethan last. He stood outside the cabin with the sledgehammer resting against his shoulder, eyes on the tree line. The forest was quiet. No sirens, no screaming, no distant chaos. Just wind threading through pine branches. For the first time since the ridge, since the smoke rising over the skyline, Ethan felt something fragile and unfamiliar. Hope. They hadn't saved the city, but they had escaped it. And in a hidden cabin deep in the American hills, water in the well, wood in the barn, and watchful eyes in the dark, they just might outlast whatever was left of the world.